So Liz Truss, our beloved new Prime Minister, has brought in the energy price cap to save us all from energy price Armageddon this winter. But what is this energy price cap going to mean for buy-to-let property investors? To discuss that, I'm joined as usual by Andrew Roberts.
Hi Ranjan. Wow. I love data, I love stats, and this is one of data and stats.
This is very interesting because, when I read this, I got very excited. Energy price cap, £2,500. I've actually put in an order for 12 Bitcoin mining rigs because I can run them free. I'm going to get into my hot tub every single day now. And of course, I can run the heating 24/7 without any fear at all, because it's £2,500 a year. It's an all-you-can-consume energy buffet.
Ranjan, I'm sorry, you've got it wrong.
What?
You've got it wrong.
I've got to cancel those Bitcoin mining rigs?
You have indeed. I'm really sorry to break this bad news to you. The £2,500 that we keep hearing banged about in the press, this is the press just creating headlines to get you sucked in. Really sorry, guys. What the £2,500 is the average house at the new unit rate will be paying £2,500. It's the average house. So your Bitcoin mining machines have just got to go back.
They'll be sent back straight away. So it's basically a cap on the unit cost of electricity.
Absolutely.
So the more you consume, the more you will still pay. But there's a cap on the unit cost of electricity.
Yes, that is correct. I mean, currently the average bill for an average house is £1,900, and it will be rising to an anticipated £3,500. But with the price cap, it will be pulling it down. Now, I'm going to refer to some data here. The price, to put this into real terms, of gas at the moment is 7.3 pence per kilowatt. It will be rising on the 1st of October to 14.76 pence. So a doubling in price. The price cap will pull that down. It's yet to be finalised what it is, but it's indicating around 12 pence. So you will be saving 2.5 pence a unit. On electricity, you're currently paying 28.34 pence on the price cap. That will be rising to 51.89. The price cap indicates that will probably be about 45 pence a unit.
But the issue is, what does it mean for property investors? Now, if you're liking this video, of course, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon, smash that like button. Tell us what you think about the energy price cap and how it's going to affect you. But what we've talked about is how this affects homeowners. So property investors are in a slightly different category. Now, if you're doing single family lets, you've got 1-bedroom flats, or you've got single houses let to a family on an assured short-held tenancy agreement, the tenants are responsible for all the bills, then they basically are a householder and they will benefit from all these rules. So that is good news for you, because really you don't want your tenants' costs to rise too much, otherwise they won't be able to afford the rent and all their other bills. So that's good news. I think the issue is...
But the bad news on this, Ranjan, what we forget is tenants often phone us up going, this is a damp property, this is mouldy, I've got condensation coming off the walls. And it's often because they don't heat their properties adequately that the moisture settles and condenses on the walls, causing this. So it's going to cause landlords a knock-on problem, because if energy prices go up, people are going to say, I'm not going to put the heating on.
No, that is true. And people in 1-bedroom flats or something, they have a washer dryer, but they hang the clothes inside. It generates a ton of moisture because they don't want to turn the dryer on. There's all those sort of issues. But I think the area that I wanted to lead on to are people that have serviced accommodation or HMOs. Now, I think the issue is going to be that if, say, you have an HMO, a house of multiple occupation, you've got 5 rooms, and the energy bill is in your name, then you'll probably be treated as a homeowner. So your energy price cap per unit will be capped for that 2 years. But if your energy account is in a limited company name, because many savvy HMO landlords who may have 5 properties, say, will have got wholesale accounts under one bill for all their HMO properties, so that all their energy bills come on one bill under a limited company name.
Absolutely.
Those different rules.
And they are probably running a corporate account and negotiated rates. Well, it's sort of not all bad news, but it's not great news, because what Liz Truss has said is the price cap will also apply to small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the price cap, though, will match. Well, small isn't defined as yet in the press release that I read from government yesterday. But what they have said is you will have the same rates as the residential or domestic marketplace on your commercial bills. Sadly, however, it's only for 6 months rather than a longer period of 2 years, which is the domestic marketplace. So you've got it for a shorter period of time. So it will get you through this winter, but let's just hope your tenants don't treat your HMO as Barbados, with a cool Barbadian breeze blowing through and all the windows open and the heating on at 36 degrees.
So if you have got your HMOs and all of that in corporate accounts, limited companies and the like, it's going to be very difficult to unwind that, and it'll be quite obvious that that's the case. So you're stuck with those 6-month rules, and then you've got to, I don't know, people in business often like to build up their business, and say they've got a bigger business than they have. Are people going to go around saying, I've got a tiny business, I've got a small business, my business is smaller than your business? Is that the new mantra now?
I think it must be the new mantra. It's interesting because this goes to a topic that we were discussing previously on another video, which was about the all-you-can-eat service being provided to your tenants and rent controls. Now, if we start to unbundle some of these services and tenants become responsible for the contributions towards, it therefore takes some of the pain out of these inflationary increases. Now, it is an interesting policy that the government have introduced, because on one hand, we've got interest rates rising rapidly, and that is to control inflation. Energy prices are beyond our control because they're being stimulated by Russia, the lack of supply in the marketplace.
This is what I don't get. When you look
But the energy price will actually reduce inflation. And if you read the Goldman Sachs report, because what's happening is energy is one of the products, commodities in the basket of goods. Now, if Liz Truss capping energy prices means that people pay less, it therefore brings down the forecast inflation.
I get that. Energy prices have gone up, obviously because of this gas pipeline in Russia and they're trimming it back or whatever. But we in the UK get not even 5% of our energy needs from Russian gas. So about 20% of the UK's electricity is generated by nuclear power stations in the UK. So what I want to know is, how is a UK power station generating a nuclear power affected by Russia over there? Their cost per unit is not so high, so they're making opportunistic profit by increasing the energy price per unit on that nuclear generated power, because they're not affected by this.
Well, this is where the energy market and the price cap formula is flawed, fundamentally flawed. Number one, it's flawed because the price cap looks at a certain point in time and goes, that's the wholesale market price. Therefore, for the next period of time, that is the price cap.
And regardless of how that energy is generated.
Absolutely.
From what source, whether it's wind or whatever.
Absolutely. And what we need to look at is the formula, because it's the same as if we declare a dividend on a company. Sometimes the company will give you an option of take cash or take shares. And they pick a day that they decide the price of the shares that they will use to calculate how many shares you get. Well, guess what happens? The markets play a game. And if you watch the share prices, you will notice that on that particular day, the price is higher than it needs to be, so you get less shares.
So what do you think? I mean, let us know in the comments below. Are you going to be affected as a landlord by this energy price cap? Is it going to save your bacon? Let us know in the comments below. We'll get back to the video in just a moment. What is the most exciting opportunity in property right now? And that is repurposing defunct commercial buildings to residential use. Now, most people don't really know where to start, what to look for, and how to exploit these opportunities. And that's why I've prepared 90 minutes of free training for you to get you started on this wonderful journey. You can register for this free training at property-workshop.com. Join me on that free training, and I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of the video. As energy prices were increasing so much before this price cap, I think a lot of people were thinking about energy saving measures. And I think one of the easiest things to introduce or retrofit into an existing property is solar power. Absolutely. But now that we've got a price cap on the unit price, is it still worthwhile, particularly buy-to-let landlords who pay for the electric bills and HMOs? Is it still worthwhile, these guys looking at solar power?
I would certainly say absolutely 100% yes. I've had solar on properties now since about 2010.
Even up north in Hull and Blackpool, where the sun don't shine.
I was about to add a small caveat in there, Mr. B. I am in the Midlands, and the Midlands is fine. The further north you go from there, it's a law of diminishing returns. But with all this global warming, hey, it won't be a problem soon. We'll be having it in John O'Groats, and solar panels will be generating enough to drive a city. But no, being serious, they are very good if you've got a building with a roof aspect at the right angle in the right direction. Now, the further north you are, the different level of angle of trajectory your roof needs. But let's keep it simple for the audience. They generate a significant amount of electricity. I've had solar power and, what do they call it? The solar hot water. And they are both brilliant. I would not be without them. They are a fantastic system. And again, we're doing the development in Leicester, and we're looking at newer technologies which are incredibly energy efficient to put into buildings. And that is, okay, installing new, but it's in an old building.
Yes. And of course, solar panels are not subject to planning permission.
They're not, provided you're not in a conservation area or a listed building, of course. Yes. You can add those to your roof because they are sitting flat on your roof, or you can put them on the ground. And I did look at, on one occasion, having a mounted station which rotates the panels to track the angle of the sun. A bit like a flower head, it tracks the angle of the sun and alters angles depending on time of year. So no, you don't need planning permission for solar panels.
There's a lot to take into account. The price cap will certainly help your own household. It will certainly help you if your bills on rental properties are in your own name. A limited company, you'll be considered a business, of course. And at the moment, there's only 6 months help for that.
We look forward to seeing you at the next Baker Street Property Meet. It's the last Wednesday of every month. Fantastic event. Over 300 property investors every month. And we have a live panel answering your questions. So bring along those questions and we look forward to answering those.
Details at bakerstreetpropertymeet.com. Last Wednesday of every month, Wednesday evening, the largest networking event for property investors in the UK. See you there.
You live in the USA.
I do live in the
You're
US.
over here on business.
Yes, I am.
And you've made a special trip to come here to the Baker Street Property Meet.
The quality of people here is better than quite a lot of the other meets.
Come all the way from California, and it's one of the reasons why I'm here, to meet like-minded people, other investors, build my network, and continue learning and growing in the property industry.
I found it's quite informative, and I can meet a lot of
amazing people. So I keep coming.
Great knowledge in a great environment with like-minded individuals.